Assalamu alaikum. It's such an honor to meet that great man, Professor Ilham Pape. I mean, I've read his book about the ethnic cleansing of Palestine, and it was such an honor just now to be able to shake his hand and hear him speak. So I'm humbled to have met him and to follow after him. I'm just going to say a few brief words about why I changed my mind about Palestine. And it's all a bit autobiographical about my life, really. So some time ago, I became a Christian. I was a conservative, born-again, evangelical Christian, brought up in a non-Christian home, actually. I had no Christian background at all, really, apart from a kind of cultural Christian background. And so I became a Christian. And really, during that whole time of my passionate Christian commitment, it never occurred to me to think about Palestine or Israel or the Middle East, really. Apart from what I heard on the news, Palestine was not on my mind at all. And indeed, evangelical Christians, as we know, globally tend to be quite Zionist anyway. But one day, alhamdulillah, I embraced Islam. And this is a three-stage story. So the first stage was my Christian life, with no awareness of the issues. Then I became a Muslim, and I crossed really what seemed to me to be a civilizational line, an invisible line. So not only did I accept that there was one God, I accepted Tawheed, not only did I accept that Muhammad, upon whom be peace, is the final messenger of prophet sent to all of mankind, but there was another civilizational change. And I remember thinking this was actually the biggest reason why I was reluctant to convert initially. But I did, of course, ultimately. So in crossing that divide, that line, I identified with Muslims, of course, but with the global ummah. And my whole perspective changed. I suddenly saw the world, the geopolitical world, through the perspective of Muslims. And of course, inevitably, I began to understand what was going on in Palestine, Gaza, Israel, and so on. And that went on for some time, and I learned a bit more about the history of Zionism and what's going on there. But that was kind of stage 2 of my awakening, siding with the oppressed rather than accepting uncritically the Western narrative about Zionism. And then stage 3 really happened about 12 months ago after the events of October the 7th. And at the same time, of course, we have what's going on in Ukraine. And this whole, and we saw the beginning of the genocide in Gaza. And this was a new stage of unveiling for me, a new awareness about the West particularly. The West says it believes in freedom, in individual rights. The international rule-based order, international law, we believe in that passion. We believe in tolerance and democracy. We believe in sovereignty and respect for the individual. That's what the West says. Downing Street says that, White House says that, the European Union says that. And what I came to realize, as did many people around the world, perhaps a bit late, I should have realized this before, that these, unfortunately, are just words said out of one corner of the mouth. At the same time, I was hearing some very disturbing things. I still remember an extraordinary interview with the Labour Foreign Secretary, spokesman for Foreign Affairs, I forget her name, when she said very openly on TV that she supported the right of Israel to cut off water supplies to the Gazans, to cut off food, to cut off supplies. And I was shocked. This was a Labour politician, a person of the people who was advocating explicitly, shamelessly, genocide. And of course, the Conservative Party did and still does support Israel uncritically as well. So this was a total shock to me. And I came to the conclusion, as I say, very late in the day, many people had been saying this for a long time, but I guess better late than never. I came to the conclusion that the West is supremacist. it has a superiority complex, and it is racist. The way it treats brown Muslims, Palestinians, and Christians, of course, are Palestinians as well, compared to the way we treated the Ukrainians under occupation from Russia. The Ukrainians are our brothers. They are like us, said one journalist in the media. The Palestinians are different from us. But I was a Muslim, of course. These were my brothers. These were my sisters. They were family. There's a wonderful hadith of the Prophet Muhammad, upon him be peace, that speaks in these amazing terms. Now, when I say the West is racist, I don't mean individual Westerners are necessarily racist in that kind of crude sense. What I mean is the whole civilization has a supremacist mentality. It's exceptional. You get this exceptionalist idea in the White House. It doesn't matter who the president is. They all believe they have the right to rule, basically. They have a right to be the world's policeman. Who elected them, I don't know. Who appointed them, I don't know. But they do it anyway. And it struck me that the creed of the West is really might equals right. If we have power, that makes us right, and we can do what we want. And it reminded me of a book I read a long, long time ago by an Italian writer called Machiavelli. You might have heard of Machiavelli. He wrote a famous book called The Prince. Machiavelli lived in Renaissance Italy. And this book is the Bible of how to acquire and how to keep power if you're a ruler. And it's hugely influential. It's still read today by political students, and you should read it too, because it's the West's own book about how to acquire and keep power. And it's completely amoral. It doesn't follow any moral code, doesn't follow even a Christian moral view. It doesn't follow any code. It's about raw power, how to get it, how to keep it. If you can do it without hurting people, fine. But if you have to kill people, fine. And this is the rule book of political science in the West. So that's my awakening in the last 12 months. It's a very painful time we live in. I don't have easy answers. And unfortunately, a lot of what we say is circumscribed by laws that prevent us from actively supporting the oppressed, unless, of course, they're Ukrainians, in which case we can. Anyway, so that's what I wanted to share with you about why I changed my mind about Palestine in 3 stages. And I'm pleased to say it's not just Muslims who are obviously completely aware of this, but many millions around the whole planet now are waking up. In small towns in America, you get young ladies doing TikToks about their support for Palestine, who are witnessing the genocide. For the first time in history, we actually see it live on social media. So I believe the world has woken up, alhamdulillah, and this will, inshallah, result in great change to the injustice we see in our world. I guess that's all I've got to say. Thank you very much for your time, and Assalamu alaikum.